teppanyaki restaurant was where it all started. And then discovering my very first anime was my second yes to Japan. And from there, I discovered creative works from Japan one by one and fell down the rabbit hole of curiosity that just blew my mind and opened me up to the infinite possibilities of Japan. In this video, I'll be talking about 3 aspects of Japanese creative works that captures a lot of our souls: the anime, the art, and the innovation. Let's dive right in. Now, my introduction to Japanese creative work was none other than anime. I saw it for the first time on Cartoon Network during Toonami. It was a special program that ran Fridays and Saturdays, and it was none other than Dragon Ball Z. And at first glance, I knew there was something wonderfully different about it. I couldn't quite pinpoint it at the time, but it was probably the visual style that got me firsthand. But watching my first episode, I knew I was in for an amazing ride. Not only was the visual style unlike anything that I've ever seen before, but the cinematic action, the story depth, and even the violence. And it really caught my eye, and it inspired me to take martial arts as well as a child, which was, of course, another aspect of Japan. So I'd get so emotionally invested in these characters and their stories, and always rooting for them to defeat the villain and come out on the other side. It's just a magical memory that I enjoyed watching week after week. And as soon as I heard it was from Japan, that just opened my curiosity even wider and made me want to jump even deeper into it. I knew there was something wonderfully different about it, and I didn't know what it was, but as soon as I heard, oh, this is Japanese, it all made sense to me. So why is anime so beloved by so many people? It goes far beyond the distinct and unique animation style. It's more of an experience to me, because anime are, of course, based off of manga, which are books with a series of chapters and a cohesive story that takes you from a beginning and a middle and an end. And it's something that's a little different from American cartoons. American ones are more about like a series of skits. In a way, it's a vibrant world, but everything is just kind of random and alive, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But anime is a more focused kind of thing. Still fun, still a vibrant world, but the story itself sucks you deeper into the world, which it almost created a subculture in itself, because there's so many different anime that it acts like television series. And to me, if something has the power to reach across oceans to another country, to the other side of the world, and bring out this kind of nostalgic feeling, I almost call it borrowed nostalgia. You feel nostalgic for something that isn't entirely your life, but you can't help but just feel this childlike nature just rise up out of you and bring your soul alight in a way that you never quite experienced before. And to me, that's really powerful. And about the same time as anime, Japanese art sparked another form of inspiration in me. Because when I first saw Japanese art, it was at the teppanyaki restaurant that I talked about in my last video called Arigato. And Japanese art in the traditional sense is less about creating photorealistic representations, and it was more stylized and almost you could describe as a comic book kind of style. And even today you can kind of see the similarities between that, the traditional art, and the manga and anime that we have today. Just put them side by side and you can see, oh yeah, that was taken from this, or that looks similar to that. It's just fascinating how it's carried on. Japanese art is more about capturing the essence of something, the spirit of something, not exactly perfectly represented like a photograph and then just put on the wall. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that kind of art as well, but Japanese art just took a different approach, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was the kind of art that actually got me drawing in the first place and got me into art. And one distinct memory that comes to mind is this one particular drawing. It wasn't as a small child, it was more in middle school, I believe, but I remember drawing a traditional Japanese looking piece with a dragon in the sky, a traditional Japanese landscape, and calligraphy on the side. And the drawing itself, I really liked the way it came out, but it was more the practice of feeling like I'm a Japanese samurai or an artist like 1,000 years ago, and I'm drawing this by hand in the traditional way. It was just almost like a time travel kind of experience. It felt very freeing and playful, was something that really spoke to me and inspired me to just keep experimenting, keep playing, and keep my imagination wide open. Now, another aspect of Japanese art that really caught my eye is the philosophies of Wabi-sabi, which is the idea of transience and imperfection in art, and also Kintsugi, which is the art of repairing pottery with liquid gold, which exposes all the cracks and its flaws and all of its glory, instead of trying to repair it to look perfect again. The flaws are accentuated to show off their natural beauty. And this really spoke to me, especially because I tend to have perfectionist tendencies, not only in the things that I create creatively, but also in life itself. It exposed the insight that when we tend to let things unfold on their own, in their own perfectly imperfect way, that's when life can really express itself and allow something more wonderful to happen. Because when we hold so tight onto something, a certain outcome that we want to happen exactly the way that we think it should, or something else that we really want in our life, or what we think we want, we tend to lose it. It kind of slips through our fingers. But instead, when we kind of loosen our grip and just let the magic of life express itself the way it wants, something even better happens that we never could have even imagined before. I've found that some of the best parts of the haunted houses that I've created in the past, the artworks that I've done, and in life itself as well, have been unplanned, spontaneous, and just came completely out of nowhere, and I just didn't expect it. And it was something beyond amazing that I could have never imagined happening, even in my wildest dreams. And I have many accounts during my life that I can say that that happened. And I think you do as well. You just have moments in your life where your back's up against a wall, you don't know what to do, and you're like, I give up. And then out of nowhere, something turns out better than you imagined. It turns out all right, and you're just mind blown. It feels like a miracle, but it's always happening. And when we relax to it, that's when they show up, not when we're tense. And let me tell you something. Life is always progressive and moving in the direction for you. And even its flaws are perfectly imperfect. And more I'm embracing this idea of progress over perfection, just baby steps day by day, maybe improving one thing each day. The long game, not the short game or trying to take shortcuts. And I think the more that people embrace this in the world, I think it's going to lead to genuine happiness and allow them to feel freer and to express themselves more fully, because it's done that for me. And I don't think I'll ever go back. Because for one, each of us has our own unique, distinct way of expressing ourselves. Our path is not going to be the same as any other being's path. No matter how much we want to replicate one person's way of doing things because they succeeded in what we want to succeed in, we have our own unique pattern, and we can't stray away from that without losing ourselves. So embrace that. And here's another thing. We're eternal spiritual beings by nature. Who we are at our core is perfection itself. But here's the catch. It's constantly unfolding. It's not visible all at once. And when you think about it, Where's the fun in that? Because we got all of eternity. That's a long, long time. We gotta fill it somehow, right? I mean, it's just mind-blowing. And speaking of mind-blowing, let's talk about Japanese innovation. Man, they got trains that go 200 plus miles an hour. They got toilets which are automated butt servants where you walk out of the bathroom cleaner than when you went in. Once you experience a bidet over in Japan, you will never, ever be the same. Because I'm getting one here in the US as soon as possible. And if you had ever been to the store Uniqlo, they've got stores over here in the United States, but of course over in Japan as well. And to ring you up in the self-checkouts, you just throw all your clothes or all the things you get into a bin and it rings it up for you. And it shows up on the computer. It is just incredible when I first saw it for the first time. And even friends that I've taken to those stores, they're just like, what? How is this possible? It's incredible. And it just makes me think how the Japanese always think of the tiniest little details and try to make life easier and better for everyone. And not just from a feeling of obligation, I believe, but also a feeling of compassion as well. And it's this innovation and constantly progressing kind of society looking from the outside that makes Japan look so much more advanced than a lot of the world, like they're living in 2050. But honestly, the things that blow my mind the most are the simplest but the most low-tech things, but at the same time absolute genius and necessary for society. One thing I noticed when I first moved to Japan was these textured yellow lines that I saw along the sidewalks and the crosswalks and even in the train stations as well. And in case you don't know, this is for helping the blind navigate safely throughout the streets and get to where they're going a lot easier. And this just warmed my heart and awakened my soul in every way. I mean, this is a gesture from the Japanese government. This is into law, and this is everywhere. It just goes to show that when a government like that takes the time to care about its citizens, I think it should inspire a lot of other governments around the world to do the exact same thing. Now, another thing that blew my mind was embarrassingly simple, but absolute genius at the same time. I was at a hotel in Japan, and on the back of the door there was this package with this illustration on the back of someone placing a bag over their head. And at first glance I was like, wait, suffocate yourself? What? But then when I read the instructions, it was absolutely amazing, because what it was for is if there was a fire and there was smoke in the hallways, all you have to do would be to take the bag, fill it with air, place it over your head, and you can walk safely to the fire exit in the hallway without having to crawl and get on your hands and knees in order to avoid the smoke. I mean, an everyday object, a plastic bag, and they use it to save people's lives. It's this kind of creativity and innovation that should inspire our own as well. And if you don't think you're creative, think again, because I meet so many people who say to me, oh, I don't think I have a very good imagination, or I'm not creative, that's not really my thing. But here's the truth. We're all created from the creative source of the universe. Who we are is absolute creativity. And it doesn't have to be the most artistic thing or writing and stuff like that. It could be the most scientific, the most logical, analytical thing. And by using your imagination, you open yourself up to the infinite possibilities of expression. You can exercise your creativity and imagination every day, even in the smallest ways. What you can do is just simply get up in the morning and imagine having a great day. You're just going to say, this is going to be an absolute amazing day. I can't wait to be a blessing for someone today. Even that simple thing can awaken you to your imagination, and your creativity, believe it or not, can change someone's life forever. I'm curious, what creative works from Japan or another country do you love the most? Or what's your favorite anime? let me know in the comments below. I would love to know. Let's talk about it with each other and let's feed each other's obsession. Goran itadaki arigatou gozaimasu. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, and just to remind you, you are loved, you're awesome, you more than matter, and I believe in you. Love you all. Mata ne. See you soon.